Welcome to OUTdrive, folks. I'm your host, Cliff Callis, and each week I'm bringing you actionable marketing insights you can apply to reach, connect with, and convert rural American consumers. OUTdrive is powered by Callis, a full-service advertising agency with a focus on marketing rural America. Callis offers a wide range of integrated marketing services, including website development, search engine marketing, social media, video, and digital. We develop strategic and creative campaigns to build your brand and your business, and you can learn more about us at ecallis.com. Now join me in the front seat as we head out on the road to success. Let's go. Hey folks, welcome to OUTdrive. We've got another great story to share with you today about life and work in rural America. Some of you may know that Callis & Associates, our advertising agency, is certified by the Agency Management Institute, a nationally recognized association for the development of better advertising agencies. And we've been in it a long time. Recently, we participated in our semi-annual peer meetings in Columbus, Ohio. If you're a regular listener to our podcast, you've heard us talk about this experience before. I really believe it's one of the reasons we've been able to sustain and grow our business over the years. This session, I felt like, was especially beneficial, with some really great discussions about agency operations, people utilization, services, and technology. And we always share our big ideas, our challenges, frustrations, and financials, our wins and losses, and, we have them all. So let me introduce you to our guest today, Megan Hartman, president of Callis, and an experienced marketing professional who is guiding our agency into the future. Stay with us today as we share our thoughts and perspectives on key takeaways from these important meetings, new uses for AI and other technologies, and some other topics that could impact your business going forward. Welcome to OUTdrive, Megan.
Thanks, Cliff. Happy to be here.
Happy you're here too. I guess it's more like welcome back to OUTdrive, since I know it's at least your second and maybe your third visit.
I think it's my third.
Yeah, well, third time's charm, right?
It is. Best one yet.
Yeah. So we just got back from Columbus, Ohio a few days ago. Again, I thought it was an excellent meeting. I thought the discussions and information that we shared was really spot on. How about you? What did you think of Columbus?
I thought it was great. We get together twice a year with other owners in agencies bigger and smaller than ours and share best practices, what's going on, some successes they've had, maybe some things they learned from. And it's just really an opportunity to really regroup and focus on what we need to be focusing on as agency principals, and always gives us a lot of ideas that we can bring back to our clients. So I thought it was a great opportunity to really spend some time with people that are doing the same thing that we're doing every day, and always makes me feel rejuvenated to come back and implement some of these new ideas for our clients and our team.
Same here. And I know our employees, our associates are always scared to death when we come back for fear that we're going to bring them something just to revolutionize their jobs. I do recall, I recall my first meeting with AMI. It's got to be close to 20 years ago, Scottsdale, Arizona. And it blew my mind. I had been running an advertising agency for several years at that point. Thought I knew it all, right? Young and cocky. But boy, did I learn a lot. And I know I remember coming back and just blowing everybody's mind with all these changes we were going to have to make. And I knew at the time I wanted to get us into a live peer group because I could see the value of that. But I said to Dave Wood, who was the owner of AMI at the time, what was AMR at that time, he said, "You want to be in a peer group?" And I said, "Yeah, but it's going to take a year or two to get everything put into place that we need to be able to be ready." And so we did that. And that was a great investment of resources. I remember when Google was introduced to our peers, and I don't recall the year that occurred, but wow, what an eye-opener. That was so cool what they were doing, and nobody in the room had ever heard of anything like that. So that was really cool. And then the whole digital marketing practice, that has become such a big part of our business. And, there were agencies that missed the first meeting about digital marketing. and they got left behind. One of them didn't survive. The other one hit hard and did survive. But, there's just been so many points over the years where these significant topics were introduced that really caused a paradigm shift in our agency. I don't know that I heard that this time. I maybe heard it 2 or 3 times ago when we started talking about AI, because that really is revolutionizing not only our industry, but so many others. But before we get into AI and technology and other takeaways specifically, after going through those meetings and listening to everybody talk, what's your assessment of the business climate in general?
I think, hearing what everybody had to say, a lot of us are in a similar position. Our agency is definitely positioned for growth because of how, honestly, Cliff, you've run the business for the past 37 years and sticking to the principles that we learned through AMI and, making decisions based on what's best for our clients. I think about one of our key values within the agency is change is good. And, if we wouldn't have embraced digital when we did, we wouldn't be here today. And embracing AI and everything that we've embraced over the years has kept us around. We heard a lot of our other agency peers that the new business is a lot slower than it has been in the past. And that has to do with a lot of different things. Uncertainty with budgets, they're staffing up for a big chunk of business they won, but that business is not coming along as fast as they want to. So they maybe aren't hitting the financials, but it's all going to come in at the end of the year, and keeping that morale up with their team and continuing to focus on growing their current clients and helping them achieve their business goals and refocusing on what you're doing for them and planning for the future. And, this is a perfect time for many of our clients that are on more of a fiscal calendar year. We're going to start planning. Some we've just finished up because they have a different fiscal year. But I think in general, within the agency life, the sales cycle is even longer than it used to be. And we're even seeing that with some of our clients, that are selling consumer direct, or whether it's a product or a service, but their sales cycle is starting to slow down because people are taking longer to make decisions. They're uncertain about the economy and what's going to happen with interest rates and how that's all going to be impacted. So we're seeing that. We're definitely not alone. We have a lot of opportunity in the pipeline, but it's moved a lot slower than it used to in years. So we're starting to see a change in where we're focusing.
Yeah. And change is good, just like you said. And I think uncertainty really is the key word there as it relates to the business climate. It's not that business is bad. For us, business has been good. And I would say that most of our clients would say the same thing. But that doesn't carry on across the country in every market sector and industry and or agency. And you're right, there's a lot of uncertainty. We're a year away from a major election, which is going to be very pivotal probably in the history of our country. The interest rates still are, if you've been around as long as I have, they're not that high. If you've experienced record 2 or 3% low, then they are high. And that has, I think, caused people to slow down and move slower. And yet I think they're starting to realize that they're probably not going back down to 2 or 3% anytime soon. And you don't want to continue to stop business growth or investment opportunities by limiting yourself to an interest rate that's still doable, higher than what you may be used to more recently, but doable. And so, yeah, things are maybe moving a little slower than we would like to see, but that could change at any time. And, just talking about change, AI, artificial intelligence, is really changing everything. And through our work with our clients, we're able to kind of see how they're using it, their use studies that they're doing, and use cases where they're analyzing a situation where machines can maybe do something faster, better, cheaper than people. And people are suffering from lack of workforce. So it really is kind of coming at a good time. But we're able to do that for our own business. And, I think we were fortunate. We got started with using AI really pre-COVID. because I went to that MACON conference in Cleveland back in 2019, and that kind of got us started down the road. And so, here we are 4 years later, and we had a really great discussion during the meetings about all the different ways that AI is being used in an advertising agency. So why don't you just run with that a minute and talk a little bit about your takeaways about the uses of AI?
I think, AI is in everything we do. Some is more apparent than others. I think when people think about AI, they think big picture AI, chat GPT, machines doing things that replace what people are doing. But, we've been using it for, like you said, the last several years in just making our processes more efficient, not so much manual labor, which, yes, does replace some of the work that our team had to do. However, it's never going to replace the actual thinking. But, there are so many tools that we talked about that just make our life easier. The whole saying work smarter, not harder. So allowing us to free up some of that mental load to really focus on strategy for our clients and not doing some of those tedious things that we've had to do in the past and that were more manual. So a lot of that has been automated. We use a lot of AI in our advertising that we do, whether it's through social media or digitally, just to learn how the ads are performing and implement better ROI for our clients. So, we talked a lot about really protecting our clients when it comes to AI. The old adage of what you put in is what you get out. And that's definitely a key takeaway with artificial intelligence. The more detail you give and direction, the better output you can get. And there's some really great tools that our team has brought that can really pull key takeaways from huge documents that save hours and hours of time. And I think it's exciting to see our team really embrace that. And, I brought back all the tool names, and I was excited to hear that our digital team's already using most of them or has it on their list to review. So, we're in line with where we should be, which is always exciting to hear that we've got, a great group back home that's taking care of everything, in really keeping our agency at the forefront of where we need to be for long-term growth and for our clients.
Yeah, the question I always get when we're talking about AI, because everybody's familiar with ChatGPT, are you writing all your copy with AI? And, let it be known we're not.
No.
Do we use it to maybe gather some information, punch up something or other? Sure. I mean, it would be silly not to. But as you mentioned earlier, the thought process and the strategy behind what we're saying and the messaging that's being conveyed, that's pretty critical, that it is sensitive to the client, sensitive to their messaging, sensitive to the nuances of their industry and their business. But certainly AI can help that process move along. I think about how we've used AI in marketing automation for years with CRM and following leads and, identifying prospects and now doing prospect research or competitive research, again, faster than we could have done it ever before. And, we have plenty of uses for our time, right? So we can take time that was spent doing repetitive tasks and put it into thought-provoking ideas, strategies that are going to generate results. And it works for, like you mentioned, optimizing campaigns, making them better, inbound marketing, and now moving into video. And we're going to, I think, test using AI for our podcast transcripts and helping to develop show notes quicker. So, there's just so many applications. And, as I learned back in MACON 4 years ago, look at the things that you do repetitively that a machine could do. And that's the start of where you put a use case and a use study into place.
Absolutely. I think about, our design team is going through Adobe Max right now. So it's been this week, it's wrapping up. And I think about last year, what they came back with, and just even photoshopping images. It used to, you had to hand draw all around the image to be able to cut something out. But now you can, with AI, you can click on it and hit a button. So it doesn't take the massive amount of time to edit photographs like it used to, so that our team can be more efficient and, again, focus on the things that they need to be. That's not just a little tedious thing that costs our clients more, when they can be doing the big picture stuff and being more strategic and creative.
Absolutely. And, as it relates to all that, it's important that we have guardrails to help our associates, our employees, know how to use AI, because it could easily be misused, overused, abused. And we have expectations for professionalism, for content that's going to need to be copyrighted. And we're always protecting our clients and looking out for their best interests. So, that's the importance of having policies in place for how we're going to use and not use AI. And I think it's important that everybody recognizes that each organization ought to have that for themselves, because you're going to be able to use it lots of different ways, and you want to make sure that you use it right. I think another big change that's occurred, and we talked about it at our peer meetings, and I'm not saying that it's too late, because it's not, but the transition of Google Analytics, the GA4 transition, talk a little bit about what that means to a marketer.
So really, it changes the way the traditional analytics functions on the website. So if you didn't get ahead of that transition, you could have potentially lost some of your historical data. We were ahead for our clients and had it running, the original analytics running at the same time the GA4 was, and then completely transitioned over. But the reporting is going to be a little bit different than it was previously to the transition. But, being able to see who's on your website, where they're coming from is vital to making decisions, especially when it comes to what we're doing for our clients. So, we helped them all through. Any of our clients that we were managing websites and had hosting for, we made that transition on their behalf or worked with them to help them through. The hope is that it gets even better as they continue to make improvements with analytics, but really seeing a difference in how things are reported and being able to really get ahead of the change before they lost data. So if they didn't go forward with that change, then there's a potential to lose any history of previous, so you don't have anything to benchmark against your campaigns.
Yeah, I think the other part of that is just the general awareness about your website. And, a lot of people take their website for granted. If they don't go there, they don't look and see that it's being kept up to date, that there's dynamic content that's being introduced on a regular basis, that you're not pulling people back to it through other sorts of outbound marketing. And, so going through a transition like this kind of brings the website up to maybe top of mind, and maybe gets people thinking about their SEO strategy. When was the last time that they went back and did an analysis of keyword searches and what people are looking for when they come to a website, and, the whole SEM approach. And then, taking a look at a possible refresh. I mean, how long has it been since the website's been redesigned, or even go back to stage one of when was the last time you did a user experience? Because companies change, products change, people change, buying habits change, consumer trends change, and all of those changes can impact how somebody wants to use your website. So, you got one topic here, Google Analytics, but it kind of brings to mind all the other aspects of website and online marketing and e-commerce that is so prevalent today.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, a website, and it depends on the website, but they have a shelf life of, 3 to 5 years, some even shorter. But the more content you have on the website that's valid and new and fresh, the better that your search is going to perform. So I think always being top of mind with the content on your site and really looking and a content audit on a fairly regular basis is important, just to keep the information fresh and keep you at the top of that list for Google.
Absolutely. One of the challenges, or sometimes multiple challenges that come up, are, dealing with agency people And this is not just our industry. It's not unique to us, but how there are issues. Anytime you have people, there are issues. And of course, we're fortunate in our agency to have, top shelf talent, and, we're lucky to have them. But I think it brings to mind for me the need and opportunity to coach. And, people want to be coached. And, they want expectations. They want a pat on the back. They want respect and recognition. They want one-on-one time with you and with I and their supervisor. And I think it's very important to maintaining a culture of motivated and productive employees.
I agree. And I think, something that our employees value is the freedom and the trust to bring new ideas and to know that they can come to us with something new they've seen, and we're open to trying it out if it makes sense for our clients, but really giving them the support that they need to make decisions that are great for the agency. So it just empowers them to continue to grow and learn and know that we're here to support them in every way. So we have a great team, but reinvesting in that team, you think about, Cliff, all of your historical knowledge, and we've got a few new employees, and we're going to take them through the AE training and sales training and really talk about everything that we maybe take for granted because we know it like the back of our hand. But, the stories of the agency at the very beginning and where we've come from, and think about to the beginning of when it was just you and a couple other people in your house and what we've grown to now. But I think taking the time to focus on building the talent that we have is imperative to keeping our team happy and provides the best for our clients as well. It's really hard to find people still, especially in our market. We're in a smaller community. We've been fortunate enough to bring in some really talented people that live not far away and help grow our team to where we need to be, but continuing to focus on building the skill sets for those employees that we have, whether it's an intern that we want and hope grows into an account executive one day, or an intern that's grown into our digital director. So, that's what we always want to invest in the people, and we want our employees to stay around for the long haul, just like we want those relationships with our clients. So, it's another value is the right people, and I feel like we've got that, and it's educating them and giving them the resources that they need to be successful. And sometimes that's a training through AMI or the Adobe Max conference or AI conferences that some of our digital team will be going to in a few weeks. But it's really just looking for opportunities for them to learn and grow, even just, newsletters that we come across that we're reading and continuing to grow and keeping that top of mind. Our team does a really good job of sharing little tidbits that we find, because I think we're all subscribed to different things. Some of us are reading some of the same stuff, but we're continuing to educate, whether it be our social media department or this new creative tool with AI, but we're sharing that with our team and created spaces where we can house all that information for library, really, and sharing that with us. So, it starts from the top and it comes up from the bottom too. Our team brings me new ideas and stuff that they see on podcasts, or they hear on a podcast they listen to, or read in a newsletter, or saw on LinkedIn. And that, just makes it even more valuable.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Resources available. One of the components of our meetings is when everybody shares things that they're using, tools and technologies or resources, or you mentioned newsletters as one of them. So, I haven't vetted these, or at least some of these. Some of them I know about and use, but, we're recording this, less than a week after we got back. So really haven't had a chance to check these out yet. So I'm not necessarily recommending them, but our peers are, and I value their judgment. So 3 podcasts, folks, that you might want to check out. One is called Acquired, and there's backdrop on all this. I'm not going to go into it. If you're interested, go check it out. The second one is My First Million. And then the third podcast that was recommended, in addition to ours, of course, was How to Take Over the World. So those are 3 podcasts that you might want to check out if you're looking for some inspiration. a couple of services that you might check out. I know our agency folks are taking a look at both Morning Brew and Marketing Brew on a regular basis. And then a couple of books that people mentioned. One was called Blue Fishing, and the other was called Rethink Innovation. So there's just a few ideas for resources that you may want to just, check out. Let us know if you latch on to any of those and really like them. And then I'm also glad that you mentioned our account executive training program, because pat each other on the back. One of the sessions that we have that everybody prepares for going into those peer meetings is our big idea competition. And it is a competition. You're dealing with a bunch of type A personality agency principals.
Very competitive people. Yeah.
Very competitive people. And, we're right in there with them. And so, we always, I don't know if struggle's the right word. I think maybe challenge. We challenge ourselves to dissect all the different ideas and things we've done over the last, since the last meeting 6 months ago, to come up with that one big idea that we want to share with the group in hopes of winning the competition. We've been working really hard on a really thorough and integrated account executive training program, because we recognize how important account executives are to our clients and to the future of our business. And so, we felt pretty good that we had a good program to share and a good idea to share. And wow, lo and behold, our peers thought it was the best one. Boom, it's a win. And, I think I shared with you, I know that I was surprised because there were some other excellent ideas. So, it's nice to be recognized by your peers, right? But I think what it tells us is we're on the right track with what it is that we're trying to do. So congratulations to you on behalf of the agency.
You as well. It was exciting. Another thing I like about, the big idea is we share it. So we actually are working through developing this training program, and I already have one of the other agencies has reached out and asked for it because they want to build on it and know that they need to have that focus. So we're absolutely going to share it with them. And one of the things that popped out and was really a big takeaway for me is to do the thing. What's the thing you need to be focusing on? And I've grown up in the agency of I do it all. So changing that focus is new for me, but it's how I learned everything to do with the agency. And I wouldn't change that, but getting my focus to be on developing our team and our clients and, rethinking about what my priorities are throughout the day and things that other people can be doing. And, that just instills trust within the team that I know that if I'm going to give them something, they're going to take care of it. So I always prided myself in being that person. So, letting go of those reins and focusing on the things I need to be focusing on is a big thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that one because it was so simple.
It was.
and yet so thought-provoking.
Yep. I think it's something we all need to be reminded of because it's so easy to get in the weeds, but taking a step back and focusing on what you should be focusing on is important.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. Any other takeaways you recall that we maybe missed or just hadn't discussed yet?
There's one other newsletter that, and I have just subscribed to it, but I think it's got a lot of really quick takeaways that I've already shared with the team is TLDR. So short for too long, didn't read. And it's brief info. So what I like about this is each section has an estimated read time. So this is a 3-minute read. This is a 30-minute read. So I know if I go back, how much time I've got right now to dedicate to this. And there's an HR version, there's an AI focus, there's web dev focus, there's design focus. There's so many different, and there's just overall what's going on in the world, very similar to Morning Brew. I get both of those now, and I'm not seeing a lot of duplicate content, but it's only been a few days. So that's one so far I've liked and I've shared with the rest of our team because we can, based on whatever their specialty is or their focus area, the team can decide what pieces they want. So I think that's one that, with the amount of email that we all get, having some quick takeaways is great.
Yeah, I agree. And, people want sound bites.
Absolutely. It's a fast world.
Yeah, it's a fast world, but there's probably more depth if you want to dig in and research it and read about it. But people like to just kind of get their quick hits, kind of like going through the news feed, picking up things. It's just the way that our world has evolved. And you got to go where the people are in the way that they want to consume their media. And so fits right into that. So, well, I think in closing, any words of inspiration or information to share? I know that's a lofty request.
It sure is. I think overall, peer meetings are extremely valuable. I have a friend that is a business owner, and he attends peer meetings about the same amount of time we do. And we talk constantly about the takeaways we get from people that are in running their businesses. They've got a business model similar to yours, and they're doing the same things and sharing best practices. And we're not just doing it twice a year. We're communicating through email on, sometimes it's several times in a day, sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it goes a little while, but we use this group as a resource to throw things off of and look for opportunities to improve, or even an issue that we might run into of a support for our clients and our team. So I think if there's an opportunity with whatever industry you're in to join a peer group or have like-minded individuals around you, it's vital to success and sanity, really, to keep you grounded and focused on what's important.
Absolutely. Well, folks, I hope you've taken a nugget or two away from our discussion today about peer meetings in general and peer meeting that Megan and I just attended. Certainly, it was very positive. A lot of great things going on in business and in the world. And, we're going to keep right on staying up with technology, staying up with the use of best practice, incorporating new things into our business so we can better serve our clients. And I would encourage you to do the same. So thanks for being with us today. Thanks, Megan Hartman, president of Callis, for being our guest. Come back again next week, and I'll take you down the roads of rural America where it's heaven on earth.
Thanks for taking a ride with us on OUTdrive. This episode is complete, so head on over to ecallis.com for more insight you can apply to help drive your business growth. And be sure to sign up for our free monthly e-letter, OutThink, for even more helpful content about marketing to rural America. Have a great day and keep on driving.